Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, the goal here is to be able to help you broaden your painting skills as well as your 3D printing skills. Today we're going to be talking about a few things to consider when it comes to buying a resin 3D printer for beginners. And we're going to try to do it within 5 minutes or less. First thing to consider is going to be price. Now you may have come across some of the 3D printing websites such as anycubic.com or elgoo.com, and you've looked at their vast variety of 3D printers and thought to yourself, I don't know where to start. Or do I really need a $400 printer? The truth is, no, you do not need a $400 printer. Even if you could afford a $600 printer, I highly suggest starting out on a cheaper model first because you're going to go through trials and mistakes on your printer as you learn how to do 3D printing, and it makes it a lot easier when those are gotten out of the way on a cheaper printer than a more expensive printer. If you want my personal opinion, I think that if you're just starting out, a good price range to consider is going to be around $150, $250, if that's within your budget. Then, once you get comfortable with 3D printing, you can upgrade to a larger, more expensive printer at a later date. Me, for example, I started out on an Anycubic Photon Mono, which is a 2K printer, and I've been very satisfied with the results. However, I have put that thing to the ringer, and it's about time for me to consider upgrading to a bigger and better model, since my skills have become much better than when I originally bought that printer. If you're hesitant to buy a cheaper 3D printer because you're afraid that you won't be satisfied with the results, I can assure you that if you're just getting into this and this is just a side hobby for you, a cheaper printer will give you good enough results that you'll be satisfied. Here's some of the models that I printed out of my 2K printer. I think at the time when I bought this printer, it was around $160. So I didn't break the bank whenever I bought this, and I've been able to print some pretty cool models with it. Next thing to consider is going to be build volume. Build volume is essentially how much volume you have to be able to print a print at one time. The larger this number, the larger scale you're going to be able to print. This does not mean that you're confined to making a fully finished print at the size of the build volume, because most of the files that you're going to download to print on your printer are going to have multiple pieces so that you can make larger character prints, but each piece will be confined to the size of the build volume. The last topic of this video is going to be LCD resolution. This many times is advertised by a number followed by the letter K, for example, 2K, 4K, 6K, and so on. And this means that the higher the resolution, the more detail you're going to be able to capture on your print. As I mentioned earlier, I have a 2K print and I've been using it for a while and have been quite satisfied with the prints that I get. And some heavier detailed 3D models, I'm still able to capture some things such as threads and t-shirts and teeth in the back of the mouth. However, a 4K or 6K printer might capture these details in a much higher resolution. Just like the build volume, the higher the number generally means the higher the price tag will be. If you plan on painting your models, I will say the greater the detail in a print model, the easier it is to capture those details with a paintbrush. Anyways, that's all for this episode. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section and I will do my best to help you. And make sure that you stay tuned for more painting tutorials and more resin 3D printing tips. Thanks guys, have a great one.